The gender pay gap argument is back due to Caitlin Clark's $76,000 first-year WNBA basketball contract. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the so-called gender pay gap argument coming back with a vengeance. This is because Caitlin Clark, the former star of Iowa in women's college basketball, has been drafted first round, first overall pick to the Indiana Fever, and her first year contract will pay her a salary of $76,000. Now, this is a lot less than her NBA counterpart, Victor Wembanyama, who has a $55 million 4-year contract, which would pay him about $12.1 million in the first year. Big difference. Now, you got a lot of these wokesters and media people and feminists and everybody else talking about why is there a gap? Because the women work hard as the men or harder than the men. They're skilled, they're exciting, they're riveting. Why is there a big pay gap? What can we do to fix this? Should we pass laws? Should we pass regulation? What are we going to do to fix it? Now, I know it can be done to maybe kind of close the gap a little bit. Will it completely fix it? No, because of the nature of men and women. But maybe you could kind of close the gap a little bit. What you shouldn't do is have laws to try and make this be a thing. Now, before I get into all the details of what's going on, let's get to an actual news clip. Of course, I will link to everything in the box. And if you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Basketball sensation Caitlin Clark has taken the women's game to new heights, but becoming the WNBA's top draft pick has brought attention to the pay disparity with the NBA. CBS's Jerika Duncan reports Clark held her first press conference today, where she talked about how the league can narrow the gap.
This is a dream come true. Like, these are the moments you dream of.
This could also be the moment the WNBA and women's professional sports has been waiting for.
I think the more eyeballs you can get on this league, the better off this world's going to be.
The Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark.
It was a ratings record when nearly 2.5 million people tuned in to watch as former Iowa guard Caitlin Clark was drafted by the Indiana Fever.
When you look at the amount of revenue that the NBA is getting,
Here we go. Let's get into it. I know a lot of facts and figures, and I got some evidence and some sources back with what I'm going to say. But let's see what they say about the NBA versus WNBA and the revenue and what players are getting paid.
Could move some of that money to the WNBA to invest.
$76,000 is not enough for someone you are looking to be the face of the league going forward.
Okay, you want her to be the face of the league going forward, but how much money is available to give her? I mean, what do you mean it's not enough? Do you feel it's not enough? In your mind and your heart, you feel that way? Okay, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to have that opinion. But the question is, where will this money come from? The sky? At a certain point, you got to sell tickets. You got to sell advertisement. You got to have eyeballs on the sport to generate that kind of revenue. But I'm getting triggered, so I digress.
Forward. No other professional sports league would do something like that, and it's a shame.
The 22-year-old's endorsement deals in college were worth more than $3 million. She'll now get a base salary as a rookie capped at $76,535. Last year.
Now let's pause. Okay, the way they said that, it may make you think a thing that's not true, although they didn't really say it. Did you catch it? So they're saying during college, she had endorsements worth $3 million, and then she's coming to the NBA and she's getting $76,500. Now, if you guys don't know, you are able to get paid in college if you're an athlete through what they call name, image, likeness. And that's a thing that comes straight through the college. But you can also get endorsements directly from a company. You're allowed to do that as a college athlete right now, 2024. What they're not saying is that these endorsements will still carry over in the league. Just because she's in the NBA does not mean that her endorsements go away. The NIL thing is not there, but she's able to communicate directly with these companies the same as she did in college and still keep getting her endorsements. So she'll make much more than the $76,000 and much more than what she made in college, because now she's in the WNBA and she'll keep on playing and she'll keep bringing eyeballs to her specifically. That will generate the ad dollars.
Than $535. Last year's NBA number 1 draft pick, Victor Wembanyama, earned over $12 million. But the revenue from both leagues is not comparable. Last season, the WNBA brought in a reported $200 million.
And I might dispute that number. They said $200 million. Now, how much of that is straight up revenue from ticket sales, merchandise, things of this nature, television, ad deals? How much of that is revenue from that versus what they get subsidized from the NBA? Because let's be clear, without the NBA financially subsidizing the WNBA, there is no WNBA. And that's a fact.
$100 million, while the NBA took in an estimated $10 billion. Clark's popularity could spark a change, enabling the player to get more revenue in their collective bargaining agreements and TV broadcast contracts.
We can't underestimate how much of a difference 200 million is. Hold on, 200 million versus 10 billion. We can't underestimate that. That is a lot of money. 1 billion is 1,000 million. So just do the math.
$10 billion. Clark's popularity could spark a change, enabling the player to get more revenue in their collective bargaining agreements and TV broadcast contracts. Both are up for renewal this year.
Obviously, the new media rights deal that can be negotiated can be life-changing for a lot of players in this league.
Which could be a welcome slam dunk for everyone.
Slam dunk. Ain't no dunking going on in the WNBA, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem right there. The product is not as entertaining, it's not as exciting as the NBA. Okay, you're not going to see a LeBron James, a Wembanyama, Kevin Durant. You're not going to see these guys in the WNBA. All right, and from somebody that I know that played college basketball in the women's game at a high level at a big school, I won't say what school because if I say it, you'll recognize it. And they're going to be anonymous for this video. But this woman told me that the NBA, that the WNBA, the women's professional league in the United States, sucks and college is better. Okay, so when people are trying to make the leap from college basketball to the WNBA and then a greater leap from the WNBA to the NBA, it's kind of a misguided thing. Now, let's get into some of the facts and figures here. Okay, now, this is a thing where somebody's trying to say Caitlin Clark chooses a $750,000 pay cut. That's not true. It's not going to be a pay cut because she's still going to be able to keep her actual endorsements in the league. If anything, she'll be getting paid more because now she has a salary, whereas in Iowa, she was not getting the salary. It'll just be any kind of endorsements that come through the NIL or directly through the companies themselves communicating with her, maybe an agent. Okay, so that's false. Let's keep on going. Now, let's look at some of these numbers, okay? 2023 WNBA Finals set Nets' highest TV viewership in 20 years on ESPN. Now, it says each game averaged 728,000 viewers and audiences increased by 36% on last year's finals, okay? This is the finals. 728,000 viewers per game. That's what they say from last year's finals, 2023. Now, here's the NBA, okay? Here is the NBA, all right? So, look, NBA Finals television ratings. Let's go to 2023. And these numbers are way down from the Jordan era. We'll get to that in a minute. But, look, 2023, Denver Nuggets, Miami Heat, 4-1 victory for the Denver Nuggets. And you have 11.64 million on average compared to 764,000 on average. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? Less than 1 million viewers per game on average compared to 11.64 million viewers on average. And that finals that the WNBA just had last year was a 36% increase from the year before. And as you can see, the finals are kind of at a low point right now in the NBA. Now, let's go back to the Jordan era, and we're going to really see some numbers. like 1998. Let's go at 1998 right quick, and you'll see what it was before. 1998, this was all-time high viewership. 29 million viewers per game on average. 29 million. The NBA is down and still is getting 11 million, 11.6 million. I mean, come on. It's not too much you could really say. Okay. So look, this right here says WNBA just had its most watched season in 21 years, averaging about 462,000 viewers per game across ABC, ESPN, and CBS. Okay. So about 400 plus thousand. Now the NBA is getting 1.6 million viewers per game on average. Okay. 1.62 million viewers to date. All right. So what are we talking about? 400,000 viewers per game compared to 1.62, 11.6 million viewers per game in the finals compared to about 700,000. What are we saying? And then also a few more things, just so you understand the money. We saw the revenue that the WNBA brings in versus the NBA and the viewers. We saw all that. But how about this? There's only 40 games in the WNBA season, regular season, compared to 82 regular season NBA games. There's only 12 teams in the WNBA compared to 30 teams in the NBA. I mean, the list goes on. The game in the WNBA is not as exciting. They don't bring in the revenue. There's just a handful of teams. There's not a lot of viewers. It is what it is. They're talking about bringing more money to invest. Well, what are we going to do? How much money can be invested to turn the WNBA into a more exciting game? College women's basketball is better than the WNBA. It just is what it is. So what are you going to do to try and quote unquote fix that? Not much. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to WNBA basketball players, college basketball players, overseas women's players. Shout out to you guys. I mean, you guys have your own game, and it shouldn't be compared to the men's. I think that's unfair. I think women should have their leagues. As I've always been saying, we shouldn't have transformers up in the mix. Let them have their game. Let us have their game. Let them shine on their own, and whatever they can generate, whatever they can make, it is what it is. Let them have that on their own. And if it's not comparable to what the men get, then it is what it is. Ain't no sense trying to make laws or cry about it or anything like that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What do you think about the quote-unquote gender pay gap here, and what can be done? All that could really be done is just, I don't know, lower the rim, make the game better for women, more suited to women, and then they may be able to display their skills on a better playing field. You got these 10-foot hoops. You got things in the game that's designed for men, and you got the women playing it. There's already a smaller basketball in the women's game. And I think there's probably a smaller court. They're already doing certain things, make concessions, go all the way, lower the rim from 10 foot to at least 9 foot. Just make it, I don't know, make the games quicker. You could do certain things to adapt the game to women rather than having the women trying to adapt to the men. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not helping them financially at all. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.